Hi, Lisa Schermerhorn here, and welcome to my show Where Truth Lies on the Grassroots Warrior Network. I'm thrilled and excited to introduce you to Solveig Berg. I met her in Sacramento at the world premiere of the movie Zero Limits. Both of us are cast members in it. We were there with the sold out audience in the theater and had a Q&A, and it was a really wonderful experience. So I would love for you all to hear about what happened and how this movie is impacting and changing people's lives. So stay tuned. For any of you who are interested in a quantum healing, you can reach me at lisamindset.com. If you're interested also in coming to the premiere, I have one that is happening in Vermont in the town of Waitsfield on July 18th. We're having a party at 2:30 at Lawson's Brewery across the street from the theater. We're having a band. It's free and open to everyone. And then from there, we have two showings, one at 5 o'clock and one at 7 o'clock at the Big Picture. And you can purchase your tickets on my website, lisamindset.com. Love to have you come. There's also a VIP option for a group healing, quantum healing. So I'd love to see you there. If you are also interested in there's something called a wave watch, which is frequency healing that you wear on your wrist. And it's like having a rife machine on your wrist. And it uses sound wave and frequency. Right now, I have a link that will get you $150 off. It's an amazing, amazing technology. If you're interested in reversing age and helping with discomfort and pain and stem cells, you can contact me. I can get you wholesale prices for these amazing patches. They've changed my life, and I know that they'll help you. So stay tuned and thank you. I look forward to hearing your feedback. And please like, share, and subscribe. Trying to get the word out to as many people as I can. Thank you. Hi, Lisa Schermerhorn here, and you're on the Grassroots Warrior Network, and this is my show Where Truth Lies. And I am thrilled and excited to introduce all of you to a very quick, fast friend who I met in Sacramento at the premiere of Zero Limits. We're both cast members in it, and what's really cool is she came all the way in from Sweden, and so she's a little jet lagged today. She's returned. But we connected like sisters, and she's the founder of Conscious, what is it I write down? I can't read. Conscious
Conscious
Reading?
Reading
Reading.
Academy. Yes.
It looked like an L that I wrote down. The
No
Conscious
problem.
Reading Academy. And she's going to explain more about what that is. But Solveig, thank you so much. Her name is Solveig Berg, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel so honored, and I can only say that we met up at this hotel and had a whole day together. It was written in the stars, I would say,
Yeah.
because I liked connecting to you. And thanks for being here and giving me the opportunity to talk a bit about what I'm doing.
Yeah, and it was so funny because the hotel was called the Delta King, which was an old paddle wheel boat that they converted into a hotel. And so it was all staterooms. And it was really fun to be on deck and have a drink there and just sit out on the river and hang out. So that was fun. But
Yeah.
I, I want to talk to you about your experience of being part of the movie Zero Limits. And for people who don't know what this is, Dr. Joe Vitale, who was part of the movie The Secret, decided that he wanted to create a movie, but also a movement of his own based in, it's really the law of attraction, but he includes a huge part of it is something called the Ho'oponopono. And that is a beautiful prayer that creates miracles in your life. So I'm curious from your end, what is the Ho'oponopono to you, and how did you get involved in this amazing movie?
Oh, that's a great question because if I have the time, I would like to draw a bigger picture around Ho'oponopono in this movie because being a part of this movie is for me like two chapters so far. The first chapter was like I said my next vision is to be in a movie like that, and I said to my coach then I didn't know about Zero Limits at all, and I said like I want to be in a movie like The Secret with Dr. Joe Vitale, and it should be a title like Limitless. So this is what I see. And just some few weeks later, I saw a post on Facebook. You can apply for a movie, and I asked which movie is it, and it said it's Zero Limits with Dr. Joe Vitale. So this was the first big sign. I said, okay, that's decided already. I'm going to be a part of this because I saw it. And what I didn't know at this point is that Joe Vitale is actually the one that made Ho'opono so popular. I knew about Joe Vitale, but I didn't know about that part of him. And so I was in the movie and we did the filming, and still I didn't know about Ho'oponopono. And then my life spiraled down. It was so great because for me it was really a portal. I claimed being in this movie, the Zero Limits, but actually then my life went down. My business, I broke down and I lost everything financially due to a toxic relationship, which made me go to Germany. I really had to flee from my flat to get out of this relationship, to flee to a friend of mine. And then I can say that was the darkest hours of my life, being there, stuck in this trauma bond, and didn't know how to go on. And then I stood in front of a shelf and I looked at the shelf and saw Zero Limits by Dr. Joe Vitale. And I took the book out and I saw, oh my God, this is about Ho'oponopono. And I knew Ho'opono from before, Ho'oponopono. So I knew this mantra, but I never really applied it. I never really knew the background to it, the philosophy behind. And this is when I started to read the book from the beginning, and I started to apply it, and it really helped me so much in my darkest hours. It took me out of the spiral. And so I'm so grateful being in this movie, being led to Ho'oponopono and able to apply it. And right now, also in the academy, I apply it. We have one module where we practice Ho'oponopono in the field. One is saying the Ho'oponopono, and the other one is observing the changes in the field and talking about it so they can really, in real time, see the effects of this mantra. So it's really
Right.
great.
So
Mm.
just for people who aren't familiar with it, the mantra is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you.
Mm.
And it was made popular by a fellow called Dr. Hugh Lin. He was in Hawaii, and he was hired by a prison system. In Hawaii, they had a portion of the local prison that was for the criminally insane, and people were really struggling in there. They couldn't keep guards there. It was out of control, the energy was. They couldn't keep therapists in there, and they were bound by federal mandate that they had to have counselors and there, otherwise they were going to lose funding. And they were trying to find someone who was willing to be the therapist there. And they came upon Dr. Hugh Lin, and he said, I don't see my patients in person. I just pray over them. So they thought he was crazy and they wouldn't hire him. But 2 to 3 months later, they finally were desperate and they hired him. And over a short period of time, that section of the criminally insane slowly emptied out. So people either moved to mental health facilities or back into the normal prison population. Dr. Joe Vitale saw this in a newspaper article, flew to Hawaii to meet him, and wrote about him in his book. And that's so interesting because I had read the book Zero Limits, and I was part of a Ho'oponopono group, and we were
Mhm.
meeting weekly. And so part of this was, as we were meeting weekly, everyone was reporting on miracles that were happening in their lives, relationships changing, um, fortune with money, abundance. People were suddenly coming in and becoming successful. For me, I had been trying to write a book for 15 years. And I realized that I was holding on to a lot of resentment and anger. And so the Ho'oponopono helped me release because it's really
Mm.
about forgiveness. And and people confuse what forgiveness is, right? They don't
Mm.
have to know. And so with this forgiveness, suddenly the title to my book came, and then the book came flooding through me. And in 5 months, the book was written and it was a bestseller. And so people misunderstand what the meaning of forgiveness. So how did the Ho'oponopono transform your kind of idea of forgiveness and how it works?
Yes, I always start the mantra with I love you, and I think that's the best thing to say already because also any situation you're in, and if you're stuck and you don't have a solution and you are full of anger and resentment and it's so healing already to just say I love you because it for me is like, okay, whatever it is, I'm gonna give love to this situation. I'm gonna accept it as it is, and that's the first step.
Right,
That's what it means for me personally. And then it's so relieving to just give it over to a higher intelligence to
right,
say, I have a part in this. Otherwise, it would not be in my life. It would not be on my life stage. So there is a part of me in this. There is a part I am taking responsibility for. And this is actually the forgiveness part. I think that's more forgiving myself or forgiving my being part in it or whatever. It's not about like you are in debt and I'm
right.
not, or this is not about this. It's really taking over for the whole situation for everybody. And I mean, this only expresses so much love for me
Yeah.
and mature responsibility. Hmm.
Yes. One of the things that I think about a lot, and this is up to people's metaphysical beliefs, is that I believe before we come into this world that we contract with certain souls for relationships to happen so that you will be triggered into healing something. And it could be past life related, it could be inherited ancestral trauma, it could be stuff from your current lifetime. And these people came in to kind of kick your butt to help you heal and resolve it. We choose our parents, we choose our circumstances. I do life between lives, so I see these contracts with my clients. And so many people have a hard time understanding that. But once they accept that, then they can go in and accept the part that I'm now going to take responsibility for the fact that I chose this. You don't have to like the person who did it to you. That's the one thing that I always want to emphasize. You don't have to like them. You don't
Hmm.
have to like what they did. But I also think about that this person sacrificed a part of themselves to create this situation. Because if you think on the quantum field, every single person in your life is a direct reflection of what's going
Hmm.
on inside of you.
Yes, that's so great.
Yeah,
Great perspective. Yeah. And I can say from my academy, like we started in January and the Ho'opono module, I don't know, it came some weeks later. And in those
right,
weeks, you could watch the group dynamics. I mean, there are some dynamics where you have triggers and some people don't like each other. So it was really the right time to apply Ho'oponopono, and even though they maybe didn't apply it on the one that triggered them,
right.
but only after this module, since this module has gone by, there is such a deep connection in the group. It's so cleared, and people are just enthusiastic about our community. So they're celebrating this love amongst them.
Wow.
That's really nice to observe how it clears everything around if you apply Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, they call it
Mm.
cleaning, I guess, and the clearing.
Mhm.
And what I want to emphasize, and they talk about this is a mantra through the movie, is expect miracles. And I will tell you, once I started to do that, I had a situation where there was someone I didn't speak to for 14 years. And I was doing the Ho'oponopono, thinking about this person. Now, I didn't have to forgive what they did to me. I just needed to forgive them as a human being, that they were doing the best they could with what they had. And once I did that, I got a phone call out of the blue. I noticed things have changed between the two of us. How can we resolve this so that we can be in each other's lives again? No. Was this person my favorite person? Do I want to hang out with them? No. But what I found was what the Ho'oponopono does is get you into neutrality. When you're neutral, that younger part of you is no longer acting out and wounded. It's healed so that you can move on to other things in your life. And that's where the magic happens, is that you can start to manifest the things that you want instead of focusing on the things that you don't want.
Yes, absolutely.
And even to the point where this is funny, the little miracles and manifestation of flying to Sacramento for the premiere, the plane was full. Like they had people who were going standby on that plane. I had the whole row to myself. I was the only one that had two open seats next to me. And on the return flight, and I know you were there when I was going through a panic because I couldn't get my seat, and it was a middle seat, and I thought, oh, 6 hours on a plane in a middle seat. I get on the plane, and the flight attendant looks at me and she goes, "There's no one sitting at the window seat. You can move over and have that."
Oh,
I
that's good.
was like,
Great, great. I was
it's just,
sitting, yeah, I was sitting at the airport and thinking like, oh, I have this luggage. I flew like 20 hours and always with this luggage because I didn't do a check-in. And I thought I wish I could get rid of that. So, and the same time, the microphone, we are looking for 3 volunteers to check in the luggage. So that's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
so that's the thing that people, you know, to add that into their lives is expect miracles, as this is a real thing.
Mhm.
We are here to manifest. And so I'd love for you to talk about your own personal story of how you started to be able to read the field, as you call it, and explain to people what the actual field is for you.
Mm.
Because you were born in Germany. And then you ended up moving to Sweden. And this woman speaks what, 5 languages fluently,
No.
including English, only four languages fluently. So I so admire you that because I struggle with foreign languages. But yeah, I'd love people to get a sense of you and your story of how you came to get to where you are today.
No, I would very much like to do that. So, yes, I would say like the field, just to understand what it is, it's roughly the place that's inside of us or outside of us, I don't know, where all the knowledge is stored. And it's stored in a form of energy. We can't really see it or touch it. But we can access this energy and we can translate it, and we do it like on 5 channels. We have the channel of inner viewing, like we see pictures, we conceive colors and forms, and we have like we receive words or thoughts. So it can be words or thoughts, it can be feelings inside your body, sensations, like how you feel, but also how the maybe you feel a pressure somewhere, especially if you do um, animal communication. They often send you a pressure point on the body where they have pain to tell you about, like, look, there is something. I want you to look at it. So it can be physical sensation, and it can be synchronicities in the 3D world around you, that you're reading the field and at the same time there's a siren going, or the same time the cat hops on the table or something. And it has something, it's a meaning, because it wouldn't be there in this moment if it's not crucial to the reading. So these are the 5 senses we have, or the 5 channels, and everybody can do this. And how I got to field reading was like I had endometriosis when I was 29, had like severe pain, and was not not a single doctor could help me because they always were in their special field. And after a while I found out by myself that it must be endometriosis, because it's just so chaotic in my whole body. And then my gynecologist told me that like I have only 1% chance of getting pregnant, and if I would be pregnant, I would not survive it probably. So it was a really dark
Wow.
prediction. And but I didn't believe it in this. I mean, sometimes my inner intuition is really strong and tells me, no, he's talking bullshit right now. Where does this come from 1%? So on which basis? So I went out and I knew this is my crisis now because I read so many stories about other people. And you don't want to experience it, but when you're at the point, I thought like this is the point where I will turn my crisis into my chance. And some days later I met a woman, she told me about energy healing, a special course. So I took a seminary and I learned about this in 3 different steps. And already in the first course, all my symptoms were gone. And after the course, it was a process, and this is where I read from your friend, Dr. Christiane Northrup. I don't know if I
Yes,
pronounced it
you
right.
did. It was perfect.
Yeah. Okay, I read about her. It was one book from her, and I read about that this maybe there was like abuse in your childhood or something. So, and I had so much resistance about this because I thought like, no, now that I'm on my spiritual way, I have to be abused and. But after a while, I accepted it. I just accepted it as like maybe there is a possibility. I'm just not remembering it. And this is when I got pregnant directly because only the acceptance of the possibility because this is what my body wanted to tell me, and then I remembered that there was something in my childhood and I could work with that. And this was my beginning of the way, because what we did in these energy healing sessions was actually close your eyes and receive images about your client's topics. And this was my entrance to, okay, there has to be more there. And
Right.
then I made an animal communication course, and then I did a field reading seminary. So I don't have a special story like a near death experience or that it's always in me. I learned it like every other adult did. And this is why I know everybody can learn it. And the specialty about contrast reading, I would say, is like it's a fast entrance. It's really a no fuss access because I had this experience in the seminary that a woman took a really long time. She was shuffling around her chair to find the right position, to get the right connection to the upper realm. And this is where I decided I want to have it very easy. I want to do readings everywhere and anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I think about in my own journey of the past 25 years entering into the spiritual metaphysical realm and taking psychic development courses. And one of the things that I love about what you do is you simplify it. It's not a mystery. Everyone has the ability to do it. And I remember I was taking a course from a woman who actually is a medium, Rita Berkowitz, and she could see your guides and loved ones around you. She was a spirit artist. So if she saw a loved one or someone around you, she would sit and draw it as confirmation. You were not allowed to tell her anything about that person. And so she said, you have a crowd around you of your family, and you also have a spirit guide. Now, I had done a meditation and saw my spirit guide. So I had a sense of what he looked like, but I thought I was just making it up. So she drew him, Native American, high cheekbones. And when she drew him, it was exactly as I had seen him.
Mhm.
And that gave me the confirmation that what I was seeing, I wasn't making up. And as I took courses with her and continued to study, she would continue to say, ask me what I saw, and she would keep confirming. And I always thought that this was for someone else, not me. And a big part of it, I think, is learning to trust yourself.
Mhm.
Everyone can play the piano. It's just a matter of how hard you practice and how much you set that in. So when you say you also talk to animals, you so or communicate with animals so you can read their field. Have you done anything with the nature, the world of nature and trees and things like that?
You can talk with anything. It's always people like, can you talk with it? Yes, 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 yes. You can, everything has its own field. Everything is consciousness. So you can connect to anything. It's just like I say we work with intentions, and the intention would be I connect to XY. And it's so
Mhm.
easy. And we're doing this in our modules. So we are really playing with all the variations that are possible in the field. So people get out really thinking like I can do anything there. It's just one intention away. Yeah.
So there's the reading of the field and getting information. And then there's the manifestation of creating what you want. Do you do anything in that realm?
Yes, we do too. And this is what I call like getting connecting to vibrations because there are all versions in the field. And actually, it was my breakthrough point because when I learned to read the field, we did it in a classic way, like asking for what's the root cause of my suffering? Why isn't it working out? So I was always asking for the stuff I actually didn't want to have in my life. Then when I learned about the law of attraction, I realized it's the wrong questions. I'm using the wrong questions. I should turn it around. And then I started to ask, how did I so easily get to this point where I'm so successful? Like looking back
Mhm.
on my life, like how did I do that? So, and when I started to turn the questions like this, all readings got so more joyful, so more uplifted. And it's not neglecting any blockages or hindrances or something. It's just you're looking at them from another angle, and you're looking at them from not a like a low vibration angle, you're looking at them from a high vibration angle. And that's also one of the characteristics of conscious reading, that we are not asking for what we don't want to have. So we always have this pre-process of how would I like it in my life.
I
Yeah.
love that because I find in my work there's a term called reframing, where you reframe it so you turn it around into
Mhm.
something positive. And people will always say, I never saw it like that. I never looked at it like that. And you're right, because if I turned around and focused on my suffering of what I've been through in my life, that would keep my vibration and frequency down. But if I were to turn around and look at, if I made a list of all of my accomplishments and see where I am now, that younger part of me would never believe that I would have achieved all the things that I have achieved now. And that's not coming from a sense of arrogance. It's just my truth of I never thought I'd ever be able to be alone. I never thought that I would ever be able to support myself. I never thought that I would ever be able to help heal people and to write a book and to be in a movie. It was the same thing. It's like was it there's a Talking Head song, How Did I Get There? It's one of my favorite songs because I think about you blink and all of a sudden it's like you're in this new place. How did I get here? And so when people can focus on that and look at the people who have influenced you, not just good, but what we perceive as bad because they are coming in as a way to help you heal what you've been carrying. They're bringing it to light. And when you reframe the way you do, you're taking your inner child, that younger part of you that's very sad and wounded, and bringing them to light and say, look what you just did. Look at this. And they will always in meditation or when you're working with them go, wow, I had no idea because they're stuck in time.
Mhm. Yes, yes. And it's, I mean, it is a strong signal to the universe that I assume it will work out for me. So I'm already sending this signal. Mm,
No, it's beautiful. So
yeah.
now you got to film your part of the Zero Limits movie in Sweden. So what was it like to have a film crew, on location and give us an idea of some of the things that you talked about in your part.
Yeah, well, the one thing that's, I mean, it was just exciting to see like the behind the scenes, what's going on if somebody comes. I never experienced that. It was just one cameraman, but he did a great job. And it was really the whole day it took for, I mean, like
Yeah.
2 minutes in the end. Um, One thing I want to say, and because I would like to clarify this, because this is the only thing I regret a little bit on the movie, because always people ask me like, how would you read for yourself in the field? And this is not what I teach actually. I encourage people, don't start by reading for yourself, but this is always what you, if you don't want to make advertisement for yourself, you have to give them something, a short win to um, to read for yourself. But actually, I want to set this straight. This is nothing I stand for, because people, when they start reading for themselves, they won't trust the information, and it leads more to frustration in the end. And this is why I really, really say I don't give out self leadership courses and teach yourself to read in the field, because I think we are not born alone on this world. We are here in a community, and how would you well, the first thing is like you build up confidence by reading for strangers. And this is really crucial. And then you have confidence to believe in your own information coming from
Right.
yourself.
Right.
This is the step. And then I think, how could you ever experience unity by sitting alone for yourself at home and reading for yourself and doing it all alone in the end again? So this is one thing, like that's I regret a little bit in the information that came through in the movie, but for the rest, I think it's really gave me a chance to talk about, especially the easiness, how this no fuss thing, that it's like breathing, it's natural. And the funny thing with the cameraman was in one scene we had to call Dr. Joey. We got a call,
Hmm.
and it took a long time to film it. And I observed the cameraman sitting there and looking at my shelf all the time. And then he said, like, I'm filming your table now. Could you lay a book on it? So just we have something nice to film. And then I looked through the shelf and I took the book. I didn't know which book he had focused on, but I took a book. And then he said to me, that was the book I was focusing on all the time. Now you got me. So that was
Wow.
really special. Yeah. And it was a nice day. I just said it's so, I mean, it's for your self-image. It's so nice. It's therapeutic, I think, to be in the center of attention for a day and to stand for what you're doing, to speak for yourself, send out your message. Yeah.
So what was it like to be at the premiere?
Oh, it was great. It was great. Just to be like, to, I mean, also to see yourself like a star, behave like a star. I am a star tonight. I'm one a part of the cast. So it's not so easy, actually. People would think like that's wow, dream come true, be on the red carpet. But I had so much resistance before. And it was, for me personally, it was a real breakthrough, because I was anyway working with my self-image.
Right.
And I knew I had, when I get back to Sweden, I will be a new version. And it happened on the red carpet, really, because
Mm,
you step into this role and you have to fill it out. And this is, I was lucky with that. So yeah, it was a
yeah.
real amazing feeling. How was it for
I
you?
yeah, no, it was strange to walk in and we were interviewed by what was it, the Los Angeles Tribune,
Mm.
and they had cameras there and they gave us all awards. They were humanitarian awards, which was really beautiful and totally unexpected. And then we had a big, I guess they're called step and repeats. It's the big banner behind us, and we were all taking photos with um, Dr. Vitale and the staff and the other stars of the movie, and that was exciting to. We had been before that meeting for the past 6 months on a weekly basis, so we had all gotten a chance to meet each other online on Zoom, but to actually get into people's energy and meet them in person was a whole totally different experience. So that was really exciting on top of that. And then what was it? Good Morning Joy, which was another show that was interviewing us out of LA, and they were really wonderful. They were really wonderful. I loved them. And so I don't know, it was surreal. And then to see yourself on a big screen. And here was the other thing. I don't know if you had this experience. I had watched the movie because they gave us the previews. So I'd watched it on my laptop. And I was like, yeah, it's a good movie. I love the message, but it was different seeing it on the screen. I
Mm.
felt it more. Like I
Yes,
felt the impact of it more, and I almost started to cry, and I'm like, this feels like a movement. It was a
yes,
totally different experience to see it, and I don't know if you had that experience as well.
absolutely the same. Absolutely the same. I saw it only for myself on the laptop screen
Yeah,
and really focused only on my contribution, if it's
yeah,
everything's right. So it was an amazing experience to sit in a row with you, with the other cast
yeah,
members on the big screen and in the atmosphere. Yeah, it gives it a whole different
yeah.
uh, atmosphere. Mm.
And the unfortunate and the fortunate part is you only got 2 to 3 minutes per person. There were a select few who had gotten more involved and were producers in the movie and had larger roles in it. But for the most part, one of the things that a lot of people didn't get a sense of as I met these people were their stories. And every single person who I met and I had a chance to sit down with them and hear their stories, there was so much that these people have overcome. Really tragic, incredible, amazing stories. And there wasn't enough time for that in the movie. So
Mm.
people just get to see, oh, they achieved this or this has been accomplished. But I hope at some point, and I think there's going to be a project that will have an opportunity to explain that. And I'll let Joe Vitale tell that. But I hope people realize that I want people to know that this is for everyone. This
Yes.
is, I mean, and I know your story too. I mean, I dug myself out. This was not just people from the outside might see you in a certain way and think, "Oh, your life is so easy. Look at what you've accomplished." Joe Vitale talks about the fact that he was
Yeah.
homeless and destitute for many years. These are great learning lessons, but at the same time, I've learned to take those lessons, forgive myself, forgive others, take responsibility for my life. And that's when the magic happens. When you stay
Yeah.
in resentment and anger or live someone else's life and not truly step into you, you'll stay stuck always.
Yeah, it's definitely all the journeys behind, and every single one of the cast members is its own universe. And
Yes.
then, did you notice after the show when there was the Q&A, there was a woman it really impressed me very much. She introduced herself as a widow and coming out of a really tough time, and she made it. She said, "I've made it to this premiere. I wanted to be with you on this day." And she had a really gorgeous dress and everything. So she is one of my heroes of this, and she's not a cast member, but
No.
yeah, but it doesn't count because it's so. She made her own zero limits experience
Right.
coming to this premiere. So all these ripple effects you can observe around everybody that heals in the heart. And that's what it's about in our journeys. We're healing here.
Yeah, I didn't get to share this with you earlier, but um, I had to drive to San Francisco from Sacramento, which is a 2 hour drive at 10 o'clock at night after the premiere and after all that crazy stuff. And so I was trying to get to my car to get a change of clothes so I could be comfortable driving instead of being in a tight dress and heels. And I went out to my car, and this beautiful woman followed me out there. And she said, I just want you to know that your message on the screen and when you spoke during the interview process at the end really touched me. And I flew from Oklahoma to be here at the premiere.
Oh my God.
And I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm getting emotional now, but I
Yeah, I'm
started to
goosebumps.
cry. And I sat there and I was like, wow, I got to have that kind of an impact on someone.
Hmm.
And what's so beautiful is you have so many people. If one person's story gets to have that kind of an impact, and I'm sure it is and will, to just relate to that one person to help them change their life, it's one of the greatest gifts that you can be given.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what it did with me also, because I was in hiding the last 2 years, actually,
Mm.
since the movie was filmed, I was in hiding. And I
And that
really
was
feel,
because of your abusive situation, correct?
yes, yes, yes. And it's now I'm building up the self-worth again, but I really got the calling at the premiere. Go out with your story now. Go and show yourself, show up.
Right,
And it's not out of arrogance because I want to be the center, the star. And
right.
we all know it's so important to
What
talk
was
about.
it within you? Because you were in such a horrific abusive relationship. When was the final moment for you that just finally said, I I have to get out of here, like I can do this?
It was not a special moment. It was one of those moments of abuse again, where I just decided, no, that's enough. No. So, and I took action. That was the hardest part, to just take action.
Right,
And I had to call a lot of people also to, yeah, to say, I'm sorry, I did this wrong. I did the wrong choice. I took the wrong choice with this man. And I had to, yeah, give the kids away for a while. That was really hurtful because I knew if I get out of this now, I can't have the kids anymore with me because I won't be able to afford a larger flat and everything. So it was confronting these consequences and saying it's in the end, it's always better than stay in this situation.
but you didn't have to go very long without your children. Like, and
No,
they
no,
and their father is actively involved, so you had options that you were able to do this, and it gave you enough
absolutely.
time to get you on your feet.
Yes, yes,
So
absolutely.
that's
So I'm seeing
beautiful.
them every day now. They're not living with me, but I'm seeing them every day. So that's great.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, miracles, expect miracles. You pulled
Yeah.
yourself out.
And actually, one thing that happened that was a real miracle for me, and it showed me so much. Um, I got recommended by a friend to be a piano player at the school, local school. And actually, I love the piano, and it was one of my childhood dreams to be a piano player, professional. But I never made it. And then I got recommended, and then I got a contract. It was just several hours a week, but
Right.
I got a contract and it said piano player. So, oh my God, I'm a piano player now.
You're a professional
Yes,
pianist,
I'm a
right?
paid piano player. So and but the cool thing was like I had in a very short time I had to get very fit in several pieces. And I was training, I never trained to a point to I've never played in front of many people before. So I
Wow.
sat on my piano and it was not in my flat this time. I had it in the stable. Friend's place. So I went to their farm and got in the dusty stable and played the piano during summertime, summer 2023 it was. And then, no, 2024, sorry. But I had to be really slow practicing these pieces, painfully slow to get better. So, and then stepping up the metronome by 5 increments and a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And the magical thing that happened, like by getting faster, but by starting slow, I got more space between the notes. I got more freedom between the notes. I really literally could observe this process.
Wow.
And this is when I decided, it was so magical, and I decided this is how I'm gonna build up my life again, slowly but steady, and I will gain momentum step by step. And this really got me going, this experience. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. So, wow. I love the fact that you got to realize another dream. I mean, you just talked about being in this movie and to actually see it happen and then to appear. And then the idea of being able to become a professional pianist and so much more. And so much more. And
Mhm.
there's so much more to come. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you want to let people know about your program. I know you have this program coming up in English, so it won't be in Swedish, unless for people who speak Swedish can probably contact you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it will be in English language and it will start in October. And I don't know if you share any links, but there is a newsletter I'm giving out the daily
Yeah.
energy every day. So it's really full of nice messages from the field. And if you have this newsletter, you will be up to date to everything I'm doing. So if anybody's interested in that, so that's the best way to stay in contact with me.
Yeah. So if you want to develop your abilities and do it quickly, and from a really amazing woman. I really admire Solveig. We connected very quickly. We'll have the information. I'll have links below so they can sign up for October. And you do this in units. So how long is this program?
It's actually a whole annual program, but you can just book as single modules. And in nearly every module, you will get the field access, and after the module, you will be able to read the field, but you can stay longer if you want. So it's really free. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can just look out for your topic that an issue that's or topic that interests you most. So
So you can just hop in and out. So
yeah,
each module is like a powerful lesson on its own. You don't have
yes,
to
we will
have
dive
done
in.
one before the other. You can hop in and out.
Yeah, yeah.
Fascinating. I love the way you set that up.
Me too. It was a download from the field. It was just
There
there
you
in the
go.
instant.
There you go. Well, Solveig, I'll have your links below, and I'm so looking forward to seeing how this movie. Now, the Ho'oponopono, the movie Zero Limits is going to be available on Amazon and Apple TV September 25th, and you'll be able to watch it in your homes. There's a couple of um, premieres that are going on. I have one in Vermont that's going to be on July 18th, and we're having a pre-party that afternoon, and we have two showings at 5 and 7 for those of you in New England who would like to come. And I'll have the links below. It'll at lisamindset.com where you can buy tickets. And we have a band beforehand for people to come, and that's
Oh
open to
my
the
God.
public. It's free. And yeah, I think there's one in where is it? In Tennessee, in Memphis. There's one in Florida, one I think in Texas. I just, this is off the top of my head. And I know one of the cast members is going to be doing some in Eastern Europe.
Wow.
Yeah, in the Czech Republic. She's got a couple of them this summer as well. So that'll be interesting. Thank you, Solvig, so much. And I look forward to seeing you in your class and expanding my wisdom and knowledge in the field.
Thank you, Lisa, for the invitation. It was an honor for me. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.